let's go. Get in here. Get in here right now. Get in here. Hey, we got 30 minutes for the rest of our lives. 30 minutes for the rest of our lives. That's our bad first down. It ain't happening. We get the ball. I promise you one thing. We're going to hit somebody. We're taking downfield for a touchdown. I guarantee you that.
Guaranteed.
Look at me. Look at me.
Let's go.
We got 30 minutes.
Let's go.
For the rest of our lives. Let's go.
Let's go.
And welcome everybody to another episode of DC Sports Daily. This is your host, Cory alongside Jack Maestri. Just another day in the nation's capital. An off day for the Nats, but that's okay because we got some football talk coming at you today. Touch base on the Redskins preseason game and maybe discuss a little bit. I was a little bit fired up today coming home from where I was, just listening to 106.7 The Fan. And callers are calling in talking about how good the Redskins are going to be. And it's just,
after that game,
anything fires me up related to the Redskins right now because I'm so thrilled watching the Nats, even though I said we were done a week ago. But going from the Nats to the Redskins is just so, I'm so fired up about it.
fired up in what way?
Not in a good way. I'm not excited. I'm not excited at all. Simply because I've watched our starters look terrible. It looks like, it's weird. It looks like we've never practiced in our life. We've never played a game of football in our life. And it's preseason football. You should be able to do what you want.
I mean, it's just the penalties that bug me. I mean, Jay Gruden went on an interview he called into Kevin and Cooley,
Something
or whatever,
yeah.
whatever their show is. And they were like, do you think, are you going to give in to the fans at all? Because I think they're all a little bit frustrated about your vanilla schemes.
Yeah.
And Jay was just like, no, I'm not going to get any more creative. Like, this is preseason.
Yeah, well, Kirk said that on 106.7 today. He said, somebody called in and asked a question and said, can you stop at the phase? And he said, we're not running any of our plays right now. Why can't you work on your plays, though? It's frustrating to watch.
I mean, dude, it's preseason.
I know you don't want to show anything.
But you know what the real problem here is? It's preseason football, and you and I both just desperately want regular
I want
season
football, and I have knee-jerk reactions to everything.
It's like we're being teased with, like,
But 12 men on the field from your starting unit on defense.
Yeah, no, that's bad.
Like, that's bad.
Well, dude, Casey McGee, he's just
Sprint it off the next time.
Yeah, but he's just he's a little
Fat.
a little fat. Not to body shame, but he needs to be fat for his position.
Yeah.
But now he knows. Just get it all out of your system now. Look, if we have 80 penalties a game in preseason and then come out week one and have
that in regular
one penalty,
season.
no, we won't.
Okay. Get it out now.
Get it out now. Look, right now the Redskins are undefeated.
But really what fired me up in the car,
Uh-huh.
the caller called in and asked for Jay Gruden's job.
Ooh.
Like,
he wanted to be the head coach,
No.
or he wanted him to get
Fired.
fired? Like, he called in and said, hey, can I have Jay's job?
No, but he said Jay Gruden needed to be fired. I mean, you said it earlier in our episodes about Jay Gruden being the best coach.
He's the best coach in the NFC East.
I think he could possibly be that. And
He is. Whatever I say is law.
2 weeks into the preseason, you're calling for his job. I mean,
I wasn't.
I know you're not.
This guy is.
Yeah.
What was his name?
I don't remember his name.
What,
Chad Dukes
Phil?
roasted him.
Was it? I bet you it was Phil.
It was probably something.
Phil from Chevy Chase.
Yeah, probably.
Phil from Chevy Chase, or it could have been Dave from Bethesda. I'm really upset with you.
Dave from Bethesda.
Look. If you think that you could do a better... Oh, you know what would happen if you did a better job than Jay Gruden in the first 2 weeks of the preseason? We'd be 2-0 in the preseason. And guess what that would mean?
Nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
Okay, Dave.
Dave.
I hope I can steal a little summoning from you, Dave. Oh, man.
That's
just get
awesome.
me to playoff
Let's just play
baseball
baseball
right now.
Let's not talk about football anymore.
Oh,
but
man.
we are.
But we're going to talk about football a lot now.
Yeah, this episode is going to be.
It's going to be weird. It's going to be like I'm not even there.
Well, you know how Jack does office talk?
Exactly.
I decided to do a segment with my buddy Brady. I know I've been talking about Brady for 8 weeks now.
We haven't even been doing the podcast for 8 weeks.
Okay. A couple episodes I've mentioned him, and I finally got a segment recorded with him, and he's going to give you a little insight on how he does daily DraftKings, daily fantasy sports football.
Yep.
And after following our Saturday draft special that we did, I wanted to go ahead and get this in on Monday and go from there. So
Is today Monday?
Today is Monday.
Oh, happy eclipse. Happy eclipse. How was your eclipse?
Overrated. I did see it, though, but it was overrated.
So what I saw was shadows on my front porch.
You know what I was expecting? I didn't really pay attention to the news.
Leafy shadows.
Right.
What were you expecting?
I wasn't
like
full blackout. A full blackout?
Pitch
states
black?
were doing that.
Yeah, but we're not. We weren't in the
weren't
path
south
of
or north.
totality.
Yeah, whatever.
It literally, if this is the United States, it was like a line straight across.
So that's what I was expecting, and then, of course, we only got half.
You're expecting it to be pitch black?
Yeah.
And then everybody start looting and pillaging and
no, like a
robbing
purge for 5 minutes.
for 2 minutes. Yeah, like the purge for 2 minutes.
I mean, Joey's in Tennessee, my brother. And
is he purging?
No, but it went black on him.
Oh.
Victoria up in Illinois went pitch black.
Shout out to all the Chris Jensen, let us know whether you went black.
Once you
all right,
never mind.
That came out wrong.
We're gonna play this clip
so,
here.
Happy Eclipse Day to everybody. Hope you had a great eclipse. Hope nobody's blind, but if you are, just
check out.
Give us a 5-star review.
You can still listen to us.
Yeah, we are not a visual podcast.
So you kind of gotta be able to find it. I don't think we got.
No, you just go. Siri, find the best sports podcast about DC sports for me.
With 10 followers. Yes, that's us.
Oh, yeah. By the way, you guys aren't following us on Twitter. You're still not. I
really don't know.
I don't know what more we can ask.
Dude, our
you.
GIF game has stepped up like 25 notches in the past 3 days.
What are you going to do when you're sitting on the toilet? You're going to have your phone out. What are you going to do? You might be on Twitter. When you're doing that next time, just type in DC Sports P1 and scroll. Give us a like, and then you'll be like, "Oh my gosh, these guys are so funny on Twitter. They're the funniest people I've ever met. I want to be friends with them, but I can't. But I can follow them." Then you follow us, and then we'll give you a shout out, and you can bet me $1 that the Nats won't win the World Series.
We're gonna up this ante here in a little bit because nobody's ever gonna bet us.
Yeah,
so
honestly,
put in like
$1 million.
$10
Yeah, just $1 million. 1,000 billion. Yeah, won't matter because nobody's gonna do it because you know what? Maybe you guys just don't like us. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe you just listen to us because you hate us, Miss Chop. Ooh,
she's my fuel.
Miss Chop is my fuel.
Him,
she,
Shim.
he, she,
Shim.
He, she, it, zit.
I don't know how to do this.
Yeah, Cory's trying to take over the producing role and just cut me off with the clip. But okay, we're gonna go ahead. It's a pretty good conversation. Yeah. Pretty long, but
we'll be back with our Husker News.
We will be back for the Tobacco Rappo,
and then Husker News and Husker Donuts,
which is part of the Tobacco Rappo. You can't skimp out on the Tobacco Rappo.
You're right.
All right, so we hope you enjoy this interview with Brady
Gillmore.
Thank you
from the DFS Cash Project. I just wanted to welcome a new segment here on our podcast of DC Sports Daily. I just want to welcome my buddy Brady Gillmore, member, or I can call him a host of the DFS Cash Project. I would like to get him on our podcast here at DC Sports Daily about weekly. He's more of a, from his podcast name, DFS Cash Project, he's a daily fantasy sports guy, mainly football. I know he's done MLB and NBA, but he kind of sucks at those. Definitely all football guy. I call him an all-around football knowing guy. Kind of like a, who is it? Adam Schefter, maybe? Kind of guy that knows a lot about football. Before we dive in here to your kind of processes, I know we did a Saturday special on yearly fantasy football, and I know you didn't agree with a few of our picks, but I just wanted to ask you your story and how you started out before we get into a couple questions here, and then go from there.
Yeah, man, I'm pumped to be here. I said pumped a lot on my podcast, so you guys are going to dig that. You can follow me at SportsDFS9 on Twitter for my Cowboys tweets. The DFS Cash Project, we're on Twitter at DFS Cash Project. You guessed it. You can always send us your questions on Twitter. We'll always be there. It's the DFS Cash Project is run by me and my buddy Nate Burke. He lives in Denver, Colorado. I met him out there working with him. Then I ended up moving to Baltimore, so I'm kind of around D.C. I grew up in D.C. my whole life, so my dad was a Cowboys fan, so I'm a Cowboys fan. But Capitals and Nats are also my life, so hopefully I get on this podcast to talk about them a little bit. But yeah, the DFS Cash Project it's me and Nate. We started playing last year. We were pretty bad in the beginning, and then we kind of dove in, started reading books, started asking questions on Twitter, started kind of really researching and figuring out how to do good and make a lot of money. By week 8, we had our process nailed down. We figured out what to look for in players. We started building our optimized lineups. We started crushing it. We cashed 75% in double ups, 45% in triple ups, 38% in tournaments. Those are great numbers. People on Twitter have told me that they're hard to replicate. To them, I say, fuck you, challenge accepted. I'm ready to go. So yeah, that's our story, buddy. I mean, we're just two millennials grinding out every slate in the NFL season. Yeah. We're pumped to have our podcast to give you all of our plays. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I know I'm pretty excited about it, too. Not only getting you on my podcast, hopefully weekly. I don't know where the episodes will go from week to week, but that's my goal, is to get you on weekly, and I'd love to be a feature on your guys' too. I don't know totally about day-to-day fantasy, but, I mean, I always like to, talk about it. I love football, as you know. But, yeah, man, it's totally cool, and I like to earn some money, so a little money on the side never hurts anybody. A wise man once told me that never turn down cash at any opportunity, so I know you can get me some. I know we went back and forth last year while you were kind of struggling, and I always gave you my lineups, and it never paid off. And then you ended up getting into a little streak there, and I started calling you out and saying, nah, I'll do my own lineup because I know more than you. And then eventually I saw your money earnings, and I was like, all right, let me get your lineups. And the one week that stood out to me was the week you made no money in your, 6-week streak. Yeah, 6-week stretch, whatever you want to call it. And I made no money that week, and I was so pissed off at you. I was like, dude, you make $1,000 here and there. Why can't you make it for me? I know I think I threw that slate that you convinced me to go on. I think I threw $85 on, and I lost everything. But to go from there, just tell me a little bit about your process from week to week or daily to daily, whatever you call it, and go from there.
Yeah, man, it really starts Sunday night, a week before the upcoming Sunday slate. That's when DraftKings releases the prices. Usually on Sunday night, you're hopefully sweating out some good GPP finishes. But the first thing I do, probably during that Sunday night football game, is look at the prices for the upcoming week. And that kind of allows you to identify the studs you're willing to pay up for, the value, who obviously isn't a play. You just get a good look at the pricing. DK, usually every week there's a couple of pricing gaps that they make. Players way too high or players way too low. That's the kind of stuff you want to look for. Monday and Tuesday is all about building the dummy lineups. Your dummy lineup is just kind of your first, after you take your first look at the slate, kind of your initial thoughts. You kind of put into a lineup, and then you start from there. We're researching on Twitter all week. We're hounding the beat writers. The beat writers hate us DFS players because we're trying to get the inside scoop on everything. Me and Nate uses this website called Fantasy Labs. You can rank your own players. You can put your own projections in. You can build your lineups. We're building lineups all week. We're looking for that optimized lineup. We're hounding lineups. I mean, I make hundreds of lineups. I know, Cory, last season I sent you tons of lineups. Just screenshots saying, oh my gosh, look at this lineup. I'm winning all the money this week. But yeah, that's just Thursday, Friday, we look for podcasts. We kind of found some podcasts that we got into, and then we were like, we might as well start our own podcast since we think we're pretty good, I guess. But yeah, that's the process. Just building all lineups all week until we're comfortable with that one optimized lineup that we're going to plug into cash games. And Saturday, we start building some GPP